bet you watch the Lorcana Dads.
Hey, and welcome to the Lorcana Dads. I'm Joey Lane. And we are back for week number 2 of the Lorcana Dads. So, Jason, it has been 7 days since we posted our first video.
First week on YouTube.
How'd you feel about it?
I think we got a good reception from it. There were some things that we had to do differently, and we're changing our audio, and I know I need to project a little bit more. And
I think he's coming into the performer world.
Yeah.
He's growing into the performer he was meant to be. My background in theater has made it, I know to talk loud and, anyway. So we also are coming off of the release of Into the Inklands.
Yeah, the release weekend.
I still am working on deck building and figuring out, and I have opened some packs. I couldn't wait to record them, as you know. But we did have a draft event here at Izzy's. I didn't say that earlier. We're back again at Izzy's Comic Store.
Yeah, we're here at Izzy's Comic Store.
In downtown Northport.
At the corner of Be Still Coffee Corner.
Yep, we have a different setup today. So anyway, this past Friday, we had a draft here at the store with Into the Inklands. I'm going to let Jason tell you about what a draft is. He was working, so he didn't get to play in it. I actually got to play, so I'll give you the player side, but I'm going to let him tell, for those of you that are like, what's a draft or sealed, or the format we played in on Friday night.
The format was actually a sealed, and you typically do sealed on release day.
Okay.
Because with a draft, you're going to draft cards like a auto draft for fantasy football or something like that. And you do that more often after the cards are out because people know what they're looking at.
Gotcha. They're not just pulling random cards.
Right. On a sealed event, that gives people their own cards to play. They get time to read them. They don't have to worry about a time limit to pass the pack or anything like that.
Okay.
So they can sit through and they can look at their stack of 5 packs, which is 60 cards, and then you'll pare that down. You'll make a deck of 40 cards to play with for the tournament. I think in official rules it's 6 packs, but because we had a large amount, and Izzy doesn't get a ton of product in compared to some of the bigger stores, so we did 5 packs and only a 40 card deck. Everybody had to choose 40 cards to play. And 5 packs is plenty.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards.
Allocations dictate that, and it's really store preference.
Mm-hmm. And I think you'll see we're going to throw some. Jason came in for a little while before he went to work, so he caught some pictures, and you'll see all of us just had massive amounts of cards laid out because it was, I'd looked at the cards during release, like leaks, but until you have the card in your hand, you're like, oh my goodness, it's quite overwhelming looking at it.
And there was a good mix of people that didn't follow along, so these were their first times reading the cards.
Yeah.
And then you had a couple people who paid attention to every drop of every day, and so they kind of knew what was going on, but you're still really not sure what the cards or how they're going to play.
Right. That was interesting for me, though, in talking about the event. Like, the cards, I was like, because it was I don't know how they will fare in actual tournament, actually organized, like, constructed play. But, like, I did really well with Kit Cloud Kicker, the little surfer guy from Tailspin, because I pulled enough that I could actually have a couple of his small options, and I would shift into the one that quests for so much.
He shifted on turn 3. He quested for 3, had ward, so he was a really good card. And he's not something that you will see in core constructed tournaments as we get along in the season. But he's it was
a very playable card in the sealed. The other one, now the one that I had, that the 2 cards that, not that I was surprised about, but had the most influence on the game was I lost my last match due to the purple Ursuala, the one that's like ripping out of the wedding dress, because she
on a roll.
She will not allow a character that's exerted to ready. So I had Kit in play, and the guy I couldn't get her off the board. I could never get, so for I think 4 turns, Kit never readied at the top of my turn.
Yeah.
And they just quested, and I think by the end they had 7 characters on board.
There's a lot of cards that are limited construction format stars that they do well in these type of formats, but you won't see them in regular play.
And then the other card that I don't know if I missed it in the release was the Red Prince Eric, who when he's banished, he chooses somebody to banish.
Yeah, you can banish another opposing character.
I mean, Red has got some, and also with the new Madame Medusa.
Yes.
Who, like, you know, my wife plays me, and I'll get Ursula on the board at 2/8, and nobody can get rid of her. But Madame Medusa comes in, Ursula's gone because she's gonna be the head woman in charge. She ain't gonna let Ursula have it.
Anything 3 strength or less, and you're gonna see that taking out Beast Tragic Hero.
Yeah,
because he's 3 strength, so
it lets you get rid of those big-bodied, weak characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was really cool. So I think that's a pretty good cover of a sealed. I think.
Yeah.
I encourage, if you get the chance to play in one, do it.
It was most people's first foray into deck building, because most people, even me, I take net decks. People make decks and put them on the internet. I just take their ideas because it's easier.
I got you. It's just really, it gives you a new respect for cards that you might not ever play, but it also lets you understand. It lets me get into the Inklands set without trying to be like, oh, I have 600 cards to choose from.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of young kids, and they enjoyed
really
playing. Cool. So you had a good mix of adults and young kids, and a young man won the tournament.
Yes, he did. I placed second. Like I said, this young man and I, he's probably 12 years old, I'd say.
Yeah.
We played in a tournament a few weeks ago, and it was almost like a rematch. But he did really well. And he came to the tournament saying, he asked his dad to come because it was sealed. He said, I'm not great at deck building, but if we're all on an even playing field, maybe I'll do really well. And he did. He won the tournament.
And that's what I like about sealed or limited formats. It takes the money out of it.
Yep.
Because it's not whose pocketbook matters. It's who's a better strategist or a better deck builder, or who can adapt their strategy on the fly with what they have on hand.
I will say at times it felt like card vomit. It felt like, let me just throw out what I can throw out. But locations, it was my first impression of locations. They are a force.
Yes.
They really are a force to be reckoned with. And I think you're going to see some people that stack the board with locations.
Well, they demand removal immediately.
Yep.
There's very few things that's going to take it out in one turn. So they're at least going to come around and gain the lore that they have for passive lore. And they add abilities.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of them, like the Queen's Castle with card draw, the Rush from the Jolly Roger.
Bayou. Yep.
The evasiveness from RLS Legacy.
Mm-hmm. So I really think the pirate ships are going to be, you're going to see a lot of pirate decks.
Yes.
So, anyway, there's that. That covers that. We also, Jason, I know we all hate to talk about it. This weekend, we saw the online community just like they all pulled out their boxing gloves.
Yes.
Because everybody discovered that, well, we think we discovered, allegedly, good word.
Allegedly.
There are error boxes.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Supposedly, there are some batch issues in certain print runs that did not contain any legendary cards, which is rare because you usually have expected, statistically, 3 to 5 legendary cards per booster box. They're finding 0, and nothing else to really gain from their box. Right.
But they're finding, so I haven't done a lot of research. Are they finding 0? Are they finding any foil legendaries or just 0 legendaries in general?
It's 0 regular.
Okay.
They have found 1 foil legendary per box.
My question with that was, has Ravensburger put into print, and I'm sure they have, I just haven't seen it, an actual statistical, like, here's how much we printed, here's how many, like, do we have an official statement from Ravensburger of what the pull rates are?
They're not going to do that because then they're bound by...
I got you.
You know, if they say that, there's guaranteed so many, then they're bound to do... They have to provide that.
Right.
And if you just say that there's no guarantee for anything, that's the gamble you get of buying a booster box.
Kind of makes me think of like a McDonald's commercial where you see that Big Mac that looks really good, but then when you order it, it just doesn't quite look like that.
Right.
No,
that's the thing is you don't have any idea of what every box being opened looks like.
Right. Well, I mean, you really we think about the scale of it. We're seeing 30 people post on social media this, or I will say I saw more print in. I opened four booster boxes over the last 5 days, and I did see more quality control issues than I have. A couple of my foils were really dinged up. There were some color spots on cards, a lot of variation in print color, but I think you're also seeing different printers. I think Ravens, like we said in the beginning, there was a supply issue, and I think they immediately, when they realized that on set one, said, okay, where can we print? So now they're not printing it all at one location. You're going to get variations.
Yeah. The first chapter seemed to be all printed at one facility.
Yeah. And
with the reprints for Floodborne starting then, you started seeing different batch numbers. And I work in production. I don't work in printing cards, so I don't have all of it. But an educated guess, the difference in the batch numbers being a different date format, one was a month, day, year, and the other was a number of the week of the year.
Yeah.
That kind of tells me that those are different printers.
Right. Well, even if I noticed on mine, you see some that it's printed in black ink, but my boxes all had a white sticker over where it was going.
Yeah.
So the boxes were labeled at a later date than when they were printed.
Yeah. To me, that looks like two different printing facilities. You have multiple printers going. I'm allegedly different quality control measures. They're probably accepting of more things.
My question is, though, do you really think they have someone sitting looking at every card?
No.
Or is it a computer's eye that does it?
You do have somebody that's going to check. They're not going to check every single card because that's not efficient. You will see people check a certain print sheet because there are people that are getting cutouts where they have the paint marker circling defects.
Somebody looked at it, yeah.
Somebody looked at it, but it still went to the cutter to cut out to make the card. So it slipped through. Probably a shift change issue, but I think the quality control is a little down because they're not really making it for the collector. They said they wanted it to be a playable game.
Right. Well, that's one thing too. We're doing an interview with the LGS store owner here, and in that episode we talk about how each release he's getting more product. He's not ordering more. He's always tried to order the same amount, but you can tell there's more product out there because, like he said, they do want it to be a player's game.
They said that from the beginning. Yeah. They want cards in players' hands, and everybody learning the game.
Yeah.
They'll worry about the quality issues later, I think. Because you can play with a card that looks like it's been run across the parking lot. You know?
Yeah. So my question for you, Jason, is: do you think there are actual error boxes, or is it just that whoever packed those boxes didn't pull some?
I am pretty sure that there are batching issues. You can't guarantee that every box is going to have X amount of rares, X amount of legendaries.
Right.
Just like everybody thinks that you should get at least one enchanted per case. You can't guarantee that.
That's not the case with me. I did not pull one, and that
you can't guarantee that.
Whereas with Floodborne, and this leads us into our next. We're doing nice little unanticipated segues here. Enchanted cards.
Yes.
I just opened a case of Into the Inklands, no enchanted. My case of Floodborne, 2 enchanteds. Again, they're milling out, I would say, millions of cards probably.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
there's no,
I mean, a case is 1,152 cards or some crazy number like that. So that was your 2 enchanted pulls?
So I've pulled, in the run of the game since August, I have pulled 3 enchanteds. In the second print run, or the second shipment my LGS Izzy's got in of first chapter, I bought a box and pulled full enchanted Aurora. And then when Floodborne was released, I got my case that first day of release and pulled 2 Mem Dragons in that case.
In the same case?
In the same case.
So that's the thing, too, is you're not guaranteed 1 in a case, but you're not limited to
right, you're not
in
limited.
a case.
I would love to see 2 pulled out of a box, but I don't know that they say it's happened, but...
Yeah, I'd like to see video of that.
I'd like to see video, timestamp, somebody dancing in the background saying my name, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So I've pulled one, and my wife has pulled another. She doesn't play, but she'll rip packs with me, and I got a couple boxes of the gift sets on the first run, and we're sitting there, and I'm explaining to her what I'm really looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I say, if you see anything super shiny, really full foil, I need to know about it. I did the best description of an enchanted card I could do, and we're sitting there ripping, and I'm getting bummed out, and she said, "Oh, this one's super pretty," you know, and I said, "Oh, what is it?" I don't know, it's really full foil. I was like, well, I almost jumped across the couch to get that from her. Yeah, it was the Artful Rogue Mickey, which went for a pretty good amount of money then.
Yeah.
And then on the second wave of first chapter, I wanted a Bloodborne box, but they were all spoken for.
Yeah.
So I had to settle for a first chapter box, and it was an Enchanted Bell in that box.
That was a good
Beautiful
card. Yeah, beautiful card. Well, that's one thing. I think the artwork on the cards is really cool in the Enchanteds. And when we were talking about errors, supposedly there is not supposedly, it has been seen, the Ursuala Enchanted in this first print of Inklands should say, what should she say?
Dreamborn.
But she has been printed to say Storyborn.
Yes, and there have been errata cards before.
Right.
And everybody's jumping on that. That's why the price hike's so high.
Yeah. So I think she was this morning. She was at $450.
And last night it was $560.
Yeah. Wouldn't we love to pull one of those?
Oh,
so that's and with the Ursuala, I think we'll determine. They claim there was an error on the Simba in set 1 that they never corrected. So again, the online community is up in arms. Will they reprint it? Ursula's my favorite character. Y'all know that. So I would love to pull one and I would probably keep her. I haven't kept any of my Enchanteds just because I've honestly sold them to support my habit. I mean, that's whatever I've sold in card-wise has gone straight back into the hobby. I'm not doing it to make money.
And that's mine too, is I would love to collect one, but because I play and I buy singles, when I pull an Enchanted, I'm going to sell it back so I can finish a deck.
Yep.
So I can play 5 or 6 decks.
So what is your general overall impression so far of Inklands? Where do you think the game's? Just general, your feeling now. You haven't played Inklands. You've played Inklands some on Pixelborn.
I played a little bit on Pixelborn, not much. I like the idea of the locations. I think it's going to throw a different strategy into the game, and you're going to see different combinations work better. I don't think you're going to see the same lockdown of Ruby Amethyst.
Right. Because I was thinking this morning, Ruby and Amethyst got more removal. They got Prince Eric and Medusa, but they still don't have a location remover. I don't think Ruby has a location remover.
Yep.
So, and I still haven't studied the card plot. My wife has spent a lot of time, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this card does it." I'm like, "Man, you studied more than me."
There's 3 or 4 cards in this set that will do removal.
Yeah. So, I am excited. I'm like with Jason. Locations, I think, are going to. They're going to make people think. Like me trying to build my first league play is tomorrow night, or it's tonight. League play is tonight, and it trying to figure out what to play is still not 100% sure what I want to do.
Yeah,
so.
I think I'm going to lean on chapter 2, set 2, what I've been playing before, because I ordered a bunch of singles. The price was really low right after everybody was ripping over open boxes, so I jumped on buying a bunch of the rares and higher at cheap prices. So whenever snail mail comes around, I'll build decks from that.
I sold some cards and forgot to put the stamp on the envelope, and it took 3 weeks for them to come back in the mail. Don't ask me how I missed the...
I prefer eBay's version where they give you a printed label.
Yes, yeah. All right. Well, I think that about wraps this episode this week. We'll have videos for you all week. I think we're fixing to rip some packs. We're working on a video for how to play for all of you those out there, something to really kind of show you how to get through the game. And then also some anatomy of cards, because I know there's a lot of questions. And the only thing I would say is read your cards, follow what they say, and
that's been a TCG staple is RTC, read the card.
Read the card. Yep. So enjoy it, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, and if there's anything you want to see that we're not doing, leave a comment down below.
Leave a comment, yes. Let us know. We want to gear it toward what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Over and out.
All right, thank you.
Now don't forget to smash that like button.
And hit that share for our friends on the other side.
And don't forget to turn on all those bell notifications.
And we'll see you on the next video.